Hello, this is part 2 of Wednesday's shir. Unfortunately, for some reason, the recording cut off. So I'm going to start again the word-by-word English translation of the Gemara that we learned, and then finish up with some learning about Pesach. We'll start again from Chav Hei Amud Beis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines from the top, I think. The words klolos ubrachos. We're in Parshas B'chukos Sai in Vayikra and in Parshas Kisavai in Sefer Dvarim, where the Torah lists the curses and the blessings, the curses that will come if the Jews disobey God and the blessings that will come if they obey God, can be read and translated. The Gemara asks, Pshita, isn't that obvious? The Gemara's answer is, I would have perhaps said, let us be concerned, perhaps the mind of the public will become discouraged. So Kuf Mem Lamed stands for Kamash Malan. It teaches us that I'm not concerned about them being discouraged, as I explained. Rather, if they fear of the negative, so they'll do what's right. The azharas, the prohibitions and the punishments for the 365 prohibitions in the Torah, Nikrin, they're read and they're translated. It's obvious, again, Ma'odetema, perhaps we should say, let us be concerned, perhaps somebody will serve Hashem out of fear. So Kuf Mem Lamed, Kamash Malan, that I'm not concerned, let people serve out of fear. Eventually, when they come to appreciate what God commanded, they'll serve Him from love. The story of Amnon and Tamar is read and translated. The story of Avshalom is read and translated. The Gemara asks, Pshita, isn't it obvious? The Gemara responds, perhaps we should say, I should be concerned about the honor of David. David was Amnon's father. David was Avshalom's father. So Kuf Mem Lamed, Kamash Malan, that we're not concerned about David's honor. A father sometimes cannot be held responsible for the misbehavior of his children. The story of the concubine in Giva, which I explained when we learned the Gemara, that story is read and translated. The Gemara asks, Pshita, isn't that obvious? Perhaps we should say we should be concerned, Lichbodo, for the honor of Shevet Binyamin, or perhaps Binyamin, the son of Yosef. Kamash Malan, it lets us hear that we're not concerned. Hoda as Yerushalayim, the prophet, the Navi in Yechezkel, pronounce about Yerushalayim, it's to'avoteha, it's disgusting things. We read it and we translate it. The Gemara asks, Pshita, isn't that obvious? And the answer is that we are excluding, we're disagreeing from what Rabbi Eliezer said. Because we learned in a Brisa, there was a story with a man, Adam Echad, that was reading Lamala. It means he was on a platform and he was reading in front of Rabbi Eliezer, and he read, Hoda es Yerushalayim es to'avoteha. To pronounce upon Yerushalayim, it's to'avot. So he said to him, Rabbi Eliezer said to the Balkore, until you're busy checking the to'avot of Yerushalayim, go and check the to'avot of your mother. Perhaps she sinned and that's how you came about. They checked for his background and they found it was a shemetz psul. It doesn't clearly say that he was disqualified, but there was an illusion, there was some type of a defect possible. And as I said, people who announce other people's defects, sometimes they're covering up for their own. So this Braita says, though, that you can read Hoda as Yerushalayim. We don't agree, or this Braita doesn't agree with Rabbi Eliezer. The story of the following things are read and not translated, and the siman is Reish Ayin Bet Daled Nun. The story of Reuven is read and not translated. And there was a story with Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel, who went to Kabul, and the Chazan HaKnesset, the Shamas, was reading Vahi B'Shchon Yisrael. That's the beginning of the pasuk, when Israel rested. And then Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel told the translator, stop, and don't translate only the end of the pasuk, but don't translate the middle, where it says what Reuven did. And the Chachamim praised Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel for interrupting the translator. The second story of the golden calf is read and not translated. What is the second story of the calf? From Vayomer Moshe until Vayar Moshe. That stretch of Chumash is talking about Aaron's description or depiction to Moshe Rabbeinu what had happened. We learned in a Braita, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, La'olam toujours, a person should be zahir, careful with his responses, because of a response that Aaron responded to Moshe. Pakru arim, the challengers found a way to be disrespectful. The ones who challenge the Torah and say that there is validity to Avodah Zarah found a source for their challenge. Because Shenemar, it says, Aaron says, Va'ashlichayu ba'esh va'yetza egel hazeh. I threw the gold into the fire, and out came this golden calf, which seems to imply that there was some type of power that it had. So therefore it's not a good idea to translate that, because people will misunderstand it and think that perhaps it was some deity, some form of power. Birchat Kohanim is read and not translated. My Tama is Memtet. What's the reason? Because it says Yisa, it shows God's favoritism, and I explained that when we learned the Gemara. The story of David and Amnon is neither read nor translated. But Vaha Amrit, but you said before that the story of Amnon and Tamar is read and is translated. So the Gemara says, Lo kasha, that's not a difficulty. Wherever it writes Amnon ben David, we won't read it nor translate it, because we're pointing a finger, an accusatory finger at David. But if it just says Amnon, we read it and we translate it, and we assume people will not blame David. Taner Rabbanan, the Rabbanan taught in Braisa, all the psukim that are written in the Torah that have a genai, have a shameful word, when we read it, we don't read the word that's written, but we read it l'shevach, a more complimentary word. For instance, yishgalena is a nasty word. We read it yishkavena, to sleep with. Ba'afolim is a nasty word. We read it batchorim, which means hemorrhoids, but it's a nicer word. Charyonim, which is a nasty word because the letters ches reish means human waste or animal waste. We read it davyonim, what flows from the pigeons. Lechol et choreim, velishtot et meimei shineim. We read it lechol et tzoatam. Tzoatam means what they go out, but we don't read lechol et choreim because the letters chet reish means human waste. Velishtot et meimei ragleim. We don't say urine, but we say the fluid of their legs. When they change the places of idol worship, lemechraot, into places of waste, we call it lemotzaot, outhouses. Rabbi Shua ben Karcha says, lemechraot, you can read it, lemechraot kishman, like the name which is written, because it is a way of genai, denigrating lavodat kacham, avodah zarah. Therefore, sometimes we do want to denigrate it, and we will use a uncomplimentary word. Rav Nachman says, Kol litzanusa, all forms of mockery is prohibited, except for mockery of avodah zarah. The sharia, it is allowed, because we're mocking it so that nobody should be attracted to it. The chtiv, it's written, Kara Baal, Baal has squatted, and Karas Nevo, the avodah zarah of Nevo, has splashed, meaning they're relieving themselves of their load of waste. Uktiv, it's written, Karsu Kara Yachdav, Lo Yachlu Malet Masa. They collapsed and squatted together. They could not escape from their load of waste, as if they have a load of waste, and as hard as they try, they can't get rid of it. So that makes a mockery of avodah zarah. Rabbi Yanai says the mockery comes mehacha from here, slowly. Le'eglot, the calves, those are golden calves, Beit Oven, that were worshipped in a place called Beit Oven, and they were now taken away in captivity. Yoguru Shochen Shomron, those who live in Shomron now become frightened. Hey, their avodah zarah was kidnapped. Ki Ovel Alav Amo, its nation mourns over it. Their avodah zarah is gone. Uchmorav Olav Yogilu, and the priests that used to Yogilu rejoice with the avodah zarah, now mourn al kvodo ki gola mimenu, that the honor has been removed from it. Don't read it kvodo, read it elo kevedo. Its load of waste was taken away. So it's just a mockery. Rav Huna bar Manoach, in the name of Rav Acha Breder Ravika, said that a Jew is allowed to say la'ovid kachavim, to an idol worshipper, that he should take his avodah zarah and put it in his shin tuf, to put it in his back. And again, as I said, probably the reason he's using such a strong expression